for Lilith, Lovecraft's Pro Wrestling Report.
That's right, we're coming to you with all of your pro wrestling news and reviews you could ever possibly need on this May 15th, beginning as we always do on this day in pro wrestling history. 26 years ago today, Asistencia Asesoría y Administración, Assistance Consulting and Administration, is born. Under the guidance of former CMLL booker Antonio Peña and a hungry roster made up of mostly ex-CMLL talent, specifically the younger roster members, AAA quickly overtook CMLL as the top company in Mexico. In fact, their rapid rise in popularity, in combination with the devaluing of the Mexico peso, directly led to another Lucha Libre organization, the Universal Wrestling Association, shutting down. The golden years of AAA came early on in its existence, highlighted by the first Triple Mania in April of 1993, and the co-promoted When Worlds Collide with the WCW in 1994. Soon after When Worlds Collide, problems began to plague AAA. Just 3 months after the show, Art Barr, one of the company's top heels, was found dead in his home. Eddie Guerrero and Madonna's boyfriend, aka Luis Piccoli, left for the United States, and stars such as El Hijo del Santo, Fuerza Guerrera, and Blue Panther soon followed. Luchadors like Rey Mysterio Jr., and La Parca and Psychosis would all leave for the WCW and Conan's own indie promotion, Promo Azteca. Antonio Peña ran the promotion until his fatal heart attack in 2006. Sister Maricela and in-laws Joaquin and Dorian Roldan handled operations following his passing. Expected to collapse following Antonio's death, Joaquin oversaw AAA's reemergence, especially with an expansion into the United States via Lucha Underground, one of the best promotions out there. Joaquin died in April of 2017. Just before passing, Dorian took over the day-to-day operations of AAA. 23 years ago today, in Nagita, Japan, Reggie Bennett defeated Manami Toyota to win the IWA Women's World Championship. 23 years ago today, at Monday Night Raw taping in Birminghamton, New York, Hunter Hearst Helmsley made his Raw debut, defeating John Crystal with a standing cutter. Called the Pedigree Pandemonium, no, seriously, the move did not last long. Soon after, Triple H went to his double underhook facebuster known as the Pedigree, and it's been his primary finisher ever since. 19 years ago today, Shane Douglas leaves the ECW. Douglas, real name Troy Martin, had been with the ECW since 1993, but it's best remembered as the man that threw down the NWA World Heavyweight Championship shortly after he had won it in August of '94. The four-time ECW champion had not wrestled since Just Incredible on April 15th, and threatened to not appear at Hardcore Heaven the next night unless he was paid what he was owed. After a brief run on the independent circuit, Martin returned to the WCW in July. He was with the company in '92 and '93, and would remain there until the company's shutdown in 2001. Bankruptcy filings following the ECW shutdown that same year revealed that Martin was owed $48,000. 18 years ago today, 3 championships changed hands on a wild Nitro from Mississippi. Chronic, Brian Adams and Brian Clark defeated Shane Douglas and The Wall, substituting for Buff Bagwell, to win the WCW World Tag Team Championship. Crowbar won the WCW Cruiserweight Championship when his partner Daphne defeated Tammy Lynn Sitch and then champion Chris Candido. Per pre-match stipulations, the male members of the winning team won the title. This would become a point of contention with Daphne and Crowbar over the next few weeks. And in the show's main event, Ric Flair defeated Jeff Jarrett to win the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. Including the vacancy on the 10th of April, this is the 6th time the WCW World title changed hands in just 5 weeks, and the 3rd consecutive week in a new world champion was crowned. 18 years ago today, on Raw is War from Cleveland, Ohio, Cynthia Lynch, one of the Godfather's friends, defeated Crash Holly to win the WWF Hardcore Championship, only to lose it moments later back to Crash Holly. Lynch, who would go on to actually have a brief run in TNA as Bobcat in 2002, made herself a little bit of history. She became the first woman to hold the Hardcore Championship and joined Chyna as the only woman to hold a men's title in the WWF. But it was a fleeting moment as Crash won the title back seconds later. In 2002, Mighty Molly, Terry Runnels, and Trish Stratus would all briefly hold the Hardcore title. 14 years ago today in Lexington, Massachusetts, the Second City Saints, CM Punk and Colt Cabana, defeated the Briscoes to win the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship. 13 years ago today, TNA presented Hard Justice from the Impact Zone in Universal Orlando. The show was dedicated to Chris Candido, who died from complications from surgery on the 28th of April, just 4 days after suffering a leg injury at Lockdown. Some matches from that card: Christopher Daniels defeated Shocker to retain the TNA X Division Championship, and AJ Styles defeated Jeff Jarrett to win the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, with Tito Ortiz as the special referee. 12 years ago today, on Raw from Lubbock, Texas, Shelton Benjamin, Chris Masters, and Triple H defeated John Cena and Rob Van Dam in a handicap Texas Tornado Rules match. Per pre-match stipulations, as Shelton got the winning fall on Rob Van Dam, he won the WWE Intercontinental Championship. John Cena's WWE Championship was also at stake in the match. 11 years ago today, Sabu is released from the ECW. One of 4 men to win ECW's Triple Crown, Sabu was the primary focus of the relaunch of ECW, but was de-emphasized after the SummerSlam. Brunk's release would be made official the next day. 7 years ago today, TNA presented Sacrifice from the Impact Zone in Universal Orlando. Some matches on that card: Tommy Dreamer defeated AJ Styles in a no disqualification match. Kurt Angle and Chyna defeated Jeff Jarrett and Karen Jarrett by submission. And Sting defeated Rob Van Dam to retain the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And it's a happy 59th birthday to WWE Hall of Famer Ron Simmons. Simmons is actually one of the most celebrated performers in wrestling history. Before wrestling, he was an All-American defensive tackle for Florida State University. And in his 4 years there, Florida State University went 39-8 with 2 Orange Bowl berths. And in 1979, Simmons finished 9th in the Helmsman voting. Simmons, whose number 50 was retired by the school in 1988, was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2008. He would join the NWA in 1988 as a babyface, but quickly turned heel. Under the management of Woman, he and Butch Reed formed Doom, but it wasn't until they were managed by former referee Teddy Long that they experienced sustained success, and they won the NWA World Tag Team Championship at Capital Combat in May of 1990, and held them long enough to be recognized as the first WCW World Tag Team Champs. The duo would go on to moderate success, winning the WWF Tag Team Championships 3 times, but never having a successful, lengthy run. The duo split as they were drafted as separate brands in 2002, but would reunite in 2003. Simmons, under his real name, so as not to associate with his gimmick name with the terrorist training camp, was kayfabe fired by Paul Heyman in 2004 after losing tag team title match. In reality, it was a write-off, and Simmons retired from in-ring competition. He made sporadic appearances since, usually to utter his catchphrase at the sight of odd things happening within the WWE. And in 2012, Simmons was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame by his old tag team partner, John Bradshaw Layfield. On to some news. With him scheduled for a meet and greet at Pro Wrestling Tees store in Chicago, CM Punk may be at least playing a small part in All In Weekend. Pro Wrestling Tees announced over the weekend that CM Punk will be appearing at their store on Friday, the 31st of August. There will only be 200 tickets available, with them set to go on sale on the 23rd of May at noon Central Time. So those autographs are going to cost about $50, with professional photo opportunities for the same price. The autograph and photo combos with exclusive t-shirt will cost about $90. So if you're a big CM Punk fan, this is your opportunity to run into him at the Pro Wrestling Tees brick and mortar store. The meet and greet is, of course, the day before All In, is bound to increase speculation that Punk may play a further role in the whole day, but I don't think he will. Punk will be returning to the Octagon in Chicago in just under 9 months as he faces Mike Jackson at UFC 225 on the 9th of June. Both fighters at 0-1 in their professional careers with losses to Mickey Gall. That's why I don't see him actually playing a role in All In, just with his attempt at his UFC run. This one's a bit of older news, too, that we didn't quite get to. Charlotte Flair was flown back from the European tour after she had one of her teeth knocked out in a match in the first night of the tour, Thursday, in Germany. She was in a SmackDown Women's Championship match with Carmella when the accident happened. She continued the match as it was laid out, with Charlotte winning by DQ and Carmella retaining the title. Charlotte did interact with fans after the match and said that she couldn't take a picture due to losing her teeth. She will be getting dental work done back home and is expected to return the tour sometime after the weekend. AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura's fourth pay-per-view WWE Championship match of 2018 is now official. Through a tweet from Shane McMahon, WWE announced the match for Money in the Bank, and whether there will be a stipulation for the match hasn't been confirmed yet. Their most recent meeting was a no DQ match for Backlash, ending in a no contest when Styles and Nakamura kicked each other with low blows at the same time and couldn't get up before the 10 count. Before that, Styles vs. Nakamura at the Greatest Royal Rumble, which followed up Styles retaining the title and Nakamura turning heel at WrestleMania 34, ended in a double countout. Now, this is the third match announced for Money in the Bank, which will be held at the Allstate Arena in Rosemont, Illinois on the 17th of June. The men and women's Money in the Bank ladder match will be taking place, with Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, The Miz, Rusev, Ember Moon, and Charlotte Flair having all already qualified. And qualifiers, of course, have been going on this week as well, and will continue tonight on SmackDown. With ITV taping pro wrestling this past week in Norwich, WWE is attempting to sign as many top United Kingdom stars as possible in recent weeks to keep up with World of Sports, and also to be with them in their own heavier expansion into the UK market with the UK-specific brand and weekly television. WWE kicks off its next phase on the 18th and 19th of June with the King of the Ring tournament at Royal Albert Hall in London. As noted in the Current Observer, Tony Storm is a key on the radar. While talent is not allowed to publicly talk about the signings until WWE releases the names for themselves, this is not a list of confirmed signings, but those that are in talks with WWE. So far, we have Storm, Joey Kofi, Dave Mastiff, El Ligero, Travis Banks, Chris Brooks, Ginny, and Eddie Dennis. In her second television match, Ronda Rousey will be challenging for Nia Jax's Raw Women's Championship. The match was announced for Money in the Bank after being set up as Rousey, Jax, and other WWE representatives appeared at NBC Universal Upfronts in New York City. The storyline is that Jax issued the challenge at Upfronts and Rousey accepted it. Rousey hasn't wrestled since teaming with Kurt Angle to defeat Stephanie McMahon and Triple H back at WrestleMania 34, but she'll be taking part in matches on WWE's European tour. She is scheduled for WWE house shows in Geneva, Switzerland on the 16th, Vienna, Austria on the 17th, Turin, Italy on the 18th, and Paris, France on the 19th. Of course, the Allstate Arena in Chicago is hosting Money in the Bank on the 17th of June. The first round of WWE's United Kingdom Championship Tournament will take place during next month's Download Festival. WWE made the announcement yesterday afternoon on their website. The matches will take place during NXT's annual excursion to the festival, as they will be running shows all 3 nights starting on the 8th of June through the 10th. WWE also announced the competitors for the tournament will be announced on Wednesday and Friday. One competitor already set for the tournament is Jack Gallagher. He defeated Drew Gulak at a recent NXT television taping to advance. The tournament will continue at the Royal Albert Hall in London, England on the 18th of June, where a winner will be crowned. That winner will face Pete Dunne the next day, also at Royal Albert Hall for the United Kingdom Championship. The last time there was a tournament for the United Kingdom, it was to crown the initial champion back in January of 2017. It was there that Tyler Bate defeated Pete Dunne to win the title and become the first champion. Dunne defeated Bate at NXT TakeOver Chicago on the 20th of May of last year to win the championship and has held it since. The Down Low Festival will take place at Donington Park in Derby, United Kingdom. And quickly in the world of rumors, apparently Vince McMahon wasn't bothered too much by fans leaving during and immediately after the main event of Backlash, according to WrestlingNews.co. The site's source is saying that McMahon expected Reigns to be unpopular in the New York, New Jersey market, and he attributes the exits to the show running late. On their Elite Audio show, PW Insider reports that Daniel Bryan has not signed a new contract with the WWE and could leave in September. The site expects he will stay with the WWE, however. I don't know how legitimate that one is, but I think he's going to stay with the company. Nia Jax missed Raw's house show this past weekend. She flew to New York to take part in NBC Upfronts, which will make her doubtful for Raw in London. In addition, Keith Lee, Casey Michael of Squared Circle Sirens, says that WWE's next Performance Center class will likely include Impact and AAA's Garza Jr., rugby players Daniel Vidic and Luke Menzies, and possibly ICW's Joey Kofi, although the Scottish indie star may skip Orlando and work for the UK brand. And like we reported last night, it's believed that the injury suffered by Jay Lethal at Ring of Honor's show in Toronto Friday night was indeed a concussion. Wrestling Observer reports that he had memory issues, which led to Ring of Honor keeping him out of Saturday in Michigan. And I found something cool recently. If you happen to have the time, check out powerbomb.tv. They have more than 50 live streaming events and 1,250 hours of indie wrestling. It's pretty awesome. And it's on pretty much every platform available, so check it out and get your indie wrestling. That's your wrestling report for this morning.
Wow.